Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Hi.
Good day.
Hello.
How are you? Who are you?
I know. Who is this woman? She keeps changing, just so you know. This woman keeps changing.
It's a constant state of evolution. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's a really good thing, actually.
So how are things?
Let me settle into that question. Because I was taught long ago that I don't have to answer right away.
You don't, and it's actually a great lesson for everybody to pay attention to because we don't have to. When someone asks you if you want to go do something or you want to go do this, pause. Pause. We all think we got to be in a hurry and like we're so afraid we're going to do something wrong. And it's like, just pause. There's nothing you can do wrong. This is your journey.
Yeah. And we get to make the most of it.
That's right. Or not. It's totally up to us.
Right. And we get to listen to our intuition to decide, does this feel good or not? And we get to listen to the reactions of our body of, does this feel good or not? So, yeah.
Saying that kind of stuff, last group that I had, we were talking about things and she's like, well, why don't you just put a note on your door and say that you channel and you do, and you're a healer and say all these things. And it's like, that was a process. So then when I got home, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I started feeling how that each one of those things felt. And I can feel where I actually had my own personal blocks, where I don't think that I'm worthy, that I don't think that I'm good enough at doing that. I started getting into the mind and comparing myself. And she's like, you're doing this all the time. Freeman tells me the same thing. You've been doing it all along. It's nothing different than what you're doing. You've talked to me about it as well. Um, the conversations that are had during the massage appointments, those conversations it's a flow of information that's coming in. It's like the things that I say aren't by accident, and they're just not. And so it's because we're all that way, but we just don't stop and pay attention to ourselves. And that's something that I have been learning, is really to listen to myself and listen to how the things feel. And when I do feel anxiety, instead of trying to go find something that's going to stop that anxiety for me that's outside of myself, it's just taking that time to, like, well, that's interesting. Why am I feeling this in my body? And not only identifying with it with the word, right? I'm not, the body is feeling anxious at that time, right? So then I can go into that process and feel that where in the body is that having that process. And then within a short amount of time, it's gone. It's not in that same state anymore. So it's just, the way that we get there is through awareness. It's through slowing down. It's through listening to the things that we say. It's noticing how we react when certain people are around us, when people trigger us. It's not to be pissed off at that person because you can't shoot the messenger. It's frowned upon. But the messenger was only just a person to step in front of you to trigger you, so that you could move beyond your own shit, your own belief systems, your BS, as Suzanne
Yes,
Guzman said.
freaking BS system.
Yep.
It's true. And you talk about the feeling of the anxiety and the having to process it. And you and I've had these conversations a lot, even before tea time, a long time ago. We've had these conversations. And in fact, I just had an interaction with another person that I've been coaching, and I know what it's like to be in that space of not being confident about listening to my intuition, or not being confident in my abilities. So when I say that, of coaching or channeling information or doing a reading and things like that, because it was all new tools, it was all new information. And then also, along with confidence, not having the confidence, is I didn't want the responsibility of possibly saying something and the person takes it wrong or judges me, criticizes me, whatever, right? So it was all that, the whole package. So I understand that, and I've understood it for a very long time. And it's from where you and I were at that time in our relationship, and still having those conversations, and still being in that space to encourage you to do things that you hadn't quite seen yourself doing yet. I know what that's like because I have people do that for me, hold that space for me. And that's kind of what I want to get to is I've been holding that space for you, seeing this vision for you. And now other people are showing up and validating, Bev, you can do this. Bev, you can do this. You've been doing it, right? And so I
Yeah.
just had the same conversation with somebody else like 2 hours ago. And it's a, and I playfully, I'm not trying to be egotistical and pat myself on the back or anything like that.
Oh, no.
It's an acknowledgement. It's a validation for me to be like, yeah, I was speaking the truth in her and I've been speaking this truth in her. And then this other conversation I had today was very similar. And she was telling me how this other person in her life is telling her things. And I'm just standing there smiling and I'm listening to her. And she gets done. She takes a breath. And I just go, I think somebody else has said that to you too. She's like, I know. So sometimes, and it's again, it's not attached to an ego side. It's a having the ability to breathe life into other people and hold space for them that they will eventually, hopefully, I mean, it took me a long time. So that it's like we catch that wave and then it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we've talked
Yeah.
about that too. It's like 30 years ago, I would never think of myself in a space where I'm at right now with who I am and what I'm doing, and actually feel excited about life. I wasn't there. I hated life. I hated everybody around me. I was full of anger. And it's like such a night and day. And when you get onto that, you find it's like you finally like what is it, Finding Nemo, when the turtles they get caught up in the undertow and they're just like, woo, like that's what it feels like. It's like, yay, here we go.
This is going to look totally different. And it's scary, but it's to listen to all that stuff because it feels scary because something that's out of what we're considering our comfortable space, regardless of whatever that space is, because sometimes those spaces can be uncomfortable, but we're familiar with it. So
Yeah.
it's as close as comfortable we know where we stand with stuff. To step out into that space. And it's like, even when we were having those conversations, I felt that was part of my process. But when we were having the conversation and I'm being told those things, I really pay attention to how does my body respond when I'm receiving this information.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I think about some of those things, I get like, I almost want to, like, emotionally, I almost want to cry, but it's not a sadness. I get like what some people might say, oh, it's anxiety. No, it's excitement.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's identifying, just because it feels good. It doesn't feel bad. It just feels a little scary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that we do that really aren't that big of a deal, but they're that big of a deal. They really are. It's just making that first step. That step is a big step. So processing all that information and then recognizing, where do I put my time into things? It's just like this whole process has happened. And it's actually a pretty phenomenal place to be in, honestly, because it's like it gets kind of scary, but I don't like being stuck. I don't like being, I've talked to a few people, and how long you been at that job? 30 years, 25 years. Like, I can't even imagine. I've been at this job for over 10 years, doing what I do now. And it's like, it's probably time for a change, just because it's time for a change. It's time for me to follow my passions. It's time to have excitement. Not that I don't enjoy my clients, because I do enjoy my clients. There's a lot of wonderful things, but it's to be in that space to know that the next part's going to be wonderful too. And we can only know that by letting go of where we're at right this moment and allow ourselves. I don't know if it was you that said it, but like, it's jumping on that leaf, floating downstream, and it's just watching. It's just putting your eyes on wherever you want to go. It's really up to us. We're the creators. And then taking responsibility. That's something that's, I've been looking at stuff like, there's things in our lives. Well, that person did this to me. And it's like, no, again, that's the messenger just they had shown up to show you that you had some more triggers to work on. Or you had, there's a possibility that you could look at this a little bit differently. And so that's what I've been telling my clients. They're like, well, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm recognizing I'm practicing what I preach, because what I preach is you can see and have an experience, you can be in a relationship, and you can always focus on all the things that aren't going right, the all maybe how you're not getting attention, maybe how you're not whatever is in that relationship, you can focus on where, because once you start looking at it, you'll get, that's how the universe works. They'll give you so much more stuff to look at that just matches that energy. So I keep telling anybody that I talk to, it's like, well, whether it's an opportunity, it's an opportunity for you to look at things and be like, well, what do I want? Because all this is showing up right now is to show me something that's not, I'm not wild about in my experience, but I have an opportunity, because what's the opposite of that? What does that actually look like? It's like, oh, I want a new job. But what does that new job look like? I don't know. So you have all these experiences that kind of help identify what does that next job look like. So all the things are actually good that are happening for us, right? It always is. And it's just a matter of how, what is our perspective on it? And are we open for change? Because change is inevitable. It's unstoppable.
Yeah. And without change, we wouldn't be doing this.
No kid. And I'm so glad. I would hate to be the same person that I was. I really would. I would really would. That person was not, she was unhappy. She was sad. She was trying to control everything in her experience so that, God forbid, if anybody hurt her. And what if someone does? What if someone does hurt her? It's okay. Because it just means there's good things that are on the other side of that door. It doesn't matter. Those are the things we hold on to all this stuff
Yeah.
so tightly and so afraid. And it's like, if you just let go, just jump on that leaf and flow down the stream, and you're gonna see so many more amazing things instead of trying to grip a hold of those blades of grass on the side, or that root or whatever you can get, that rock you're holding on to. It just doesn't serve us.
Yeah. And the idea that, just like you said, I wrote it down, the universe gives you what matches your energy. I tell you what, things have been so amazing, overwhelmingly amazing, with all the ideas and the creativity that's been coming to me. And I just really practicing not getting caught up in the frustration of not being able to keep up with it all.
Yeah.
I feel like, I right now, like, I need a team of 5 more people to help me bring all this stuff to life. Um, and so that's where I'm at. Like my energy has shifted so much that all this amazing stuff's flowing in, and it's matching my energy with where I'm at. And because I'm open to this, it just keeps coming. And my list just keeps getting longer and longer. I'm like, listen, universe, this is amazing and I love it all. However, at this moment, I'm not in a space to keep up with it. So what's the solution there? Right. So that's kind of my relationship with the universe right now. I'm like, need some help. Need some actual physical other people help right now to help me.
Yeah. And it's like receive and implement. And then when you're talking about asking for the people, it's create a circumstance that you recognize you could use more people
Yeah.
on your team.
Yeah. So I got one, and we're developing this working relationship, and it's yeah. So it's awesome to just be on the other side. And that's, I just keep telling people, it's like there's the side where I just mentioned, where that person 20, 30 years ago hated life, seriously did not want to be alive, didn't want to be on this planet. And now where I'm at now, it's like the other side, and the joy and fulfillment and the fun and the playfulness and the excitement, the creativity. I did a presentation a week ago, and to a group of people, didn't know anybody in the group. And I ended with, I do this because I get to be a light of hope for people. And I just like really felt that in my body when I said it. And it was, that's what I get to do. And
That
whatever.
sounds like a new channel. Light of hope.
Yeah.
I like it.
So And the idea that no matter where people are within the scope of their human experience, it can always change. It can
Yeah.
always change.
It can always, how can it get better, Vanessa? It can always get better. Even better.
You know what I've been saying to myself? Like at night when I go to bed, at night when I go to bed, I say, what if tomorrow is the best day of my life? As I'm laying there getting cozy and comfy in my blankets because it's freaking cold. Uh, what if tomorrow is the best day of my life? And I just keep playing that. What if tomorrow is the best day of my life? And I just keep saying that to myself. And it's just like every day just keeps getting more and more interesting.
I like it.
Ah,
You told me that a while ago, so I have it. I even have it on my board in front of me. What if this is my best day ever? And
yeah.
then I've got in my bathroom mirror, what if this is our best day ever? And also now when I go to bed at night, I'll be like, what if tomorrow is my best day? And
Yeah.
by doing that stuff though, you're shown things, how it's like, it's so amazing. And it's so because I've been practicing that as well, and then I'm getting to know what I think I'm getting to know God. It's like I'm just asking God all these questions and talking to God all the time. And I go out and I stop and I look around where I live and I sit there and I just have such a great appreciation welling up inside of me. I walk through the house and I'm like, I really do like our house. And I'm, noticing all those things and I'm walking through and then I start because been journaling. So it's like I journal and it's appreciation. It starts out as that where it's me just appreciating and next thing you know, I'm receiving messages. So I'm just writing it through. And I think I've been talking about this a little bit, but it's so phenomenal that it's these things that we do are so subtle. You could overlook them so easily. But it's like as I'm doing these things and then like I'll know when it's done because it's like it'll say love God. Like it wrote me this letter and then it was just love God. That's it. And it's like, and it's happened quite a few times just recently. So it's like, I just find it fascinating, the stuff that's can kind of flow to us. And we've keep ourselves so separate from all these things because of worthiness or, deservability. There's a million different things ways we can probably word it, but there's all these things that we find fault or lack in ourselves. And we think, oh, I can't be talking to that person. I shoplifted when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Or I tried to kill myself, or there's all these reasons that we have in our story that we made up that kind of keep ourselves separate. And it's like I don't want to. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm communicating and I'm making sure I'm open and receiving this information. I'm really loving everything that I'm doing every day because a few days ago I asked myself, it's like, can I not just be? Is there like a job that I'll be doing that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I am going to work today. This is like the best day ever, right? And it's a mindset. It's a mindset because I wasn't getting the answer. And then so since I have been practicing talking to God and being in a different space, I'm getting answers because I'm finding things to appreciate it in peace and be in the space that I'm at every night and to love the people that are around me and express myself in that way and making sure that I use my skills that I'm learning for communicating and telling the person that I love them and how much I love them. And it's not like how many times in life that we'll stop from saying things that we might seem like we're silly. Well, I've already said I love you like 10 times. Why should I say it again? Because I fucking feel like it. Because I feel it right now, and that's how it feels for me. And I'm going to express myself. I'm not a person. I can't not express myself anymore. Before it would have expressed myself, but it would have been with anger. I'm just not in that space, and now it's a foreign space, right? It's unfamiliar. It's a change. But the change is I appreciate being in that space and I love loving people. I love it.
Yeah. And the love for yourself, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
Expanding and growing.
Yeah, because you can't get there. That's the number one, really.
Yeah.
Well, God's really the number one, but the God is within as well. So it's like all the things. How could you judge yourself so harshly knowing that God's within you? You're judging God? Okay,
Okay.
I was.
Well done
I
it.
did. Yeah, I did it very well. Thank you for a good portion of my life. Well, I say a good portion as if I've lived most of it. No, I feel like I'm going to be here for a lot longer, and going to be thriving in it.
Just say we've done it enough. We have a PhD in that topic because
It's true.
self-judgment. Nobody's going to
Yeah.
judge you worse than you judge yourself.
No.
And when we think people are judging us, they're actually not even thinking about us. So it's just stories we conjure up. But anyway.
Yeah. And even if they are, thanks for sending some energy my way. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. There's a lot in that short amount of time that we just spent together. And I'm telling you, not you, Bev, you as the audience, that if you didn't get something out of that, you better go listen to it again. Because it was fire, man. It's good. It's really good.
Nice.
And that's what we do. We bring these conversations to you in hopes that you get something from it, that it resonates with you, and that you are brave enough to go out and have these conversations too. If not, it's okay. At least implement something that you're hearing that resonates, that feels good. Your body's going to tell you for sure if this is truth or not. So listen to your body and what it tells you. And stay on the path. Just stay on the path and keep going. Be resourceful. Other people want to hear these conversations. And so if you come across somebody or know somebody that would benefit from these conversations, then be resourceful and share the content, meaning the links, the platforms of which you heard it from. So Tea Time with Amy and Bev, our overall title is Amy and Bev Community. But we're found on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, Spotify, and YouTube. All the things. So, and I think every time I say it, Bev's like, dang, I'm all over the place.
All over the place.
So anyway, be resourceful, share the content with them, share the links, and be sure to comment or post questions and we'll come back to them. Don't expect an immediate response. I don't operate that way. That's a whole nother topic, but we will come to your comments and questions. And if you have questions, something you want clarity on or something you want us to talk about, then leave it in the comments so that we can implement that into our conversations. So any final words?
I would say, along with some of the stuff you've said, is just shine your light.
Yeah.
It's time. It really is. Turn it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, my friends, I'm making a note. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.